Hello friends, this is Ramana. Today I will show demo on how to write a stored procedure to return latest inserted ID in the table. So first I will show my table. So this is my EMP table which contains 7 rows. Logic of this stored procedure is whenever I inserted any new record into the table. So once after executing the store procedure, I want to know what is the latest record number id latest id I want to return after executing the store procedure. So first I will show my schema and structure of the emp table. So this is id as a primary key. Now you can see this id as seed and increment with one seed and one increment. Okay, so I have primary key on the id column. Now I am creating stored procedure. Create proc. So procedure name is insert emp id return. This is my procedure name. So here I will take as many input parameters as the number of columns in the table. So there are 6 columns there in the table, but I need to take 5 parameters other than id column. Okay, at name Varchar 20. Next, at age integer, at gen Varchar 10, at department, okay, Varchar 10 or 15, at salary, I am taking float as data type. So all these are input parameters. So you can see there are 6 columns are there including id, but id as I shown earlier, it's a identity column. So while inserting, you need not provide any value for that id column because it's an identity. So in return, I want to get employee id, so this id number. So for that, I am creating one output parameter, new id. New id is my output parameter name, integer is the data type. So I am mentioning here output. That indicates this new id is a output parameter. Okay, as begin end. So in between you need to write your insert statement. Insert into. So we want to insert 8th record on the emp table. I am taking table name. Okay, within the brackets I am taking all column names here. Name is the first column, age, gender, okay, dept and salary. So I want to insert values in these columns. So here I am mapping. So mapping, giving values, and within parentheses I am mapping at name input parameter to respective name column, and at age to age column, at gen I am mapping with gender column. Okay, at department. So at department here I am mapping with dept column name, and finally at salary. At salary I am mapping with sal column name. See, you can see here sal is the column name. I am mapping at salary input parameter to salary. Okay. Now I need to set the. We already know there is at new id is there, which is output parameter. So for that at new id I am setting value at new id equal to scope identity. Scope identity is the property that you need to know the latest record of the insertion. Okay, suppose I will take one more example to understand this scope identity. Okay, so in this 7 records are there. Now I am inserting 8th record. Insert into emp underscore pbl values. So here I am not providing any value to id column. Okay, directly I am giving name Malcolm, David Malcolm, age, okay, male is the gender. So department here I am taking, so department, and finally salary. Okay, so here there are 7 records. I am inserting 8th record. So what this scope identity will do, select scope identity if you execute simultaneously both rows. So in return you will get 8. That means 8th record has been created here. See, 8th record with these details. The scope identity will display the latest record in that scope. Okay, this is the purpose of this scope identity. Now I will use this scope identity to set the value for output parameter at new id. I am setting the at new id with the scope identity. Okay, finally end. Now once again make sure in database. Okay, test1 is my database name. Go to programmability, stored procedures. So I have only one stored procedure. So insert emp id in return I don't have. Now I am creating the store procedures. Now command successfully. Refresh your store procedure. Now you can see insert emp id in return. So procedure as created. Now how to execute? Take exec or execute word to execute the store procedure. But here when your store procedure has any output parameter, first you need to declare one variable. Okay, so I have one output parameter. I am declaring variable. So variable name is empid. I am setting the data type as integer. Okay, now I am executing the procedure. Exe execute. So I am taking this procedure name. Okay, so it is asking to provide first value for name column. So as shown, we have already 8 records are there. First I need to provide value for name column. So I am inserting the 9th record. Okay, this is name for 9th record, and age I am giving here, and next gender I am giving male. Okay, department here I am taking, and finally salary. Okay, at last you need to give value for output parameter. So what is the value here? So what is the value for output parameter? So we already declared at new id as output parameter. So I am taking this at new id. I am setting the value at empid and just mention here output. Sorry. Okay, and finally select or print. So here I am writing one customized message. Newly inserted employee id is, okay, plus I am adding cast of, I'm converting this cast of EMPID, this variable, I'm converting this variable as Varchar. Actually, this variable is the integer. I'm converting it into Varchar. Okay, that's all. So store procedure already created. Now I want to execute the store procedure. So before that, I need to declare one variable for output parameter. Now I am passing the values for the ninth record. Remember, we have already eight records are there. Now I am passing value for ninth record. Okay. So if I execute this one, you can see here newly inserted employee ID. This is the customizer message. Okay, is 9. That means you are inserting ninth record in the table. Now check the table. You can see ninth record. Okay, so this is how you need to write a store procedure to get latest employee ID in return. So here the basic is here. You need to take as many columns as in the table as input parameter. So here there are 6 columns are there, but I am taking here 5 input parameters and 1 output parameter. Because this ID as a identity column, it will generate automatically. No need to provide any value. Okay. Between as begin and end, you need to write your insert statement, insert into this table and mention all your column names, and here in the values you can mention all your input parameters. So I am setting the value with scope identity. This is the key in this store procedure. So here I am creating one output parameter. I am setting scope identity for this output parameter. While using the output parameter, first we need to declare one variable. Okay. So here I am executing the store procedure here. Name of the store procedure. Okay. So I am providing all these values, and finally at new ID. So at new ID is the output parameter name. I am mapping this at new ID with EMPID. Okay. You have to mention output. So finally you have to print, or without print also you can directly select this variable EMPID. It will work. But here I am maintaining customizer message here. So while inserting, whenever you insert any new record, automatically it will display in return the latest ID of the table. So thanks for watching the video. Thank you very much.